In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at these current conditions where there is two major storm systems here impacting the United States. One is stretching across the eastern United States, bringing tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings. We will roll into those. And then we have another storm system moving in through the Pacific upstream, and that is going to move through the United States as well, bringing impacts across the nation. And there's more to come after that as well. So we will get into that modeled guidance a little bit later on, where there is multiple major snowstorms popping up now on the European and the GFS model respectively, and we need to take a big deep dive into both of these models because there is so much to talk about. I'm very excited about this video. The only thing about this video is that I've had a lot of technical difficulties today, so I've been trying to record this video for like 3 hours and my computer was not cooperating. My computer was running out of space and I had to clear up a lot of things, and finally we are, I'm pretty sure, on track to actually get this video out, thankfully, but it will be a little bit late, unfortunately. We do have showers moving through the southwest, especially the southwest here, as there's a very strong low offshore here of the western United States, as you can see, and this is just swinging a lot of this precipitation onshore to the southwest, and this is just going to continue to move through the region and become more and more stormy here out west. We do see there is snowfall for a lot of the Cascades, the Sierra Nevadas, and surrounding mountain regions. But as we zoom in, we can tell that obviously the lower elevation and more coastal regions are seeing mostly rainfall. Now, as we move in towards the interior United States, we can see we're dealing with a trough out here, okay? There's a little bit of a ridge developing out west, and that's not going to last long. But there is a trough, and there is a lot of snowfall here with this strong low that we have over the central United States. It's pretty much right over Minnesota. We have snowfall in all of these states surrounding this region here. Definitely a very, very impactful situation. We can see as you work your way a little bit eastward, even for the Great Lakes in the Northeast, we have rainfall with this one, even heavy rainfall in some spots. We have a very classic setup where there is this cold front here swinging underneath, and then a big time warm front here, which all this means is that basically everywhere south of this warm front here is extremely warm, even areas to the north of it as well, but especially areas to the south of this warm front. We call this the warm sector here, and we definitely have a lot of warmth, humidity, and thunderstorms taking place in this area out ahead of this cold front and below that warm front. Now, this swinging cold front is going to really lead towards a lot of impacts as well here. So let's just zoom in. We have a lot of severe weather taking place, even as far northward as Virginia, near my neck of the woods, in North Carolina as well. We have this severe weather, these tornadoes taking place. Definitely very impactful here for eastern North Carolina, eastern Virginia, and even eastern South Carolina there, where we had plenty of tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings. Georgia, Florida here as well, we've had this happening, and it's just going to continue to impact these areas over the coming hours through the evening today. Now you can really see this warm sector taking place here because you see these storms really racing northward, and then you see this swinging front coming through. Things are going to be much colder behind this line than they are out ahead of it, certainly. So certainly a very, very interesting look here, and hopefully there is no actual tornadoes taking place with that. It does look quite gnarly, and unfortunately, this is kind of one of those bittersweet things, but we were able to predict this about a week ahead of time, maybe even more, that there would be severe weather on, I think we predicted a 3-day severe weather event, something like this, and it pretty much has panned out exactly how we thought it would go. Obviously, I hate to get it right when it's a bad scenario, but I also love to get it right because at least there was some preparedness, but I'm upset that it was correct because I wish there was just no severe weather. So it's kind of one of those, toss-up deals where I can't decide if it's really a good thing or a bad thing that we were correct with the forecast. It's a complicated, touchy subject, but I am thankful that there was some awareness pretty far out for this event, and hopefully that helped people be prepared for the events that are unfolding. Now, what we're going to do is move on, take a look at the upcoming model guidance, because there is, again, multiple snowstorms to take a look at. Now here we are taking a look at our European model. We can see that by the time we're reaching about 2 a.m., most of the storminess for the east here will be dying down and all but said and done, except for here in Florida, where it will continue to move southward through the state over the morning hours tomorrow. And then that will pretty much be said and done by tomorrow night, which will be that'll be Thursday evening, so we'll be taking a look at it by then. We do see there is some snow showers and rain showers left behind because after today, we really do see some cold air able to make its way into a lot of the mid-Atlantic and northeast here. So snowfall will be a possibility for some folks. Things really get interesting by the time we're taking a look at about the 8th, 9th time frame. And again, we have multiple storms still moving in through the west. They're pretty much moving through the nation and then moving down into the east. And if you were to take a wider look, which we can actually do here, we'll just do that because this is just going to be better for me to be able to explain things. So we see there's a lot going on here, obviously, but this is our Pacific Ocean right here. And then obviously the United States here. And we see all these storms moving across the Pacific and then into the United States. So we can always see these storms out way west in the Pacific. We can see that these storms are coming our way very, very far out. And we can see even by this point, this is the 9th, we have 2, maybe even 3 or 4 systems in the Pacific basically upstream from us that are still going to be heading towards the United States. So plenty of storminess on the way. It's very interesting how far out you can see these things. And as we just zoom back in, we see this storm really impacting the east here. Plenty of snowfall taking place out west. We can see that this storm does not connect with any sort of trough here around the 9th, 10th time frame. So that's certainly worth mentioning. We do have still on the longer range here on the European model. We don't get this storm to connect either around the 10th, 11th time frame. So 2 missed opportunities there. But I think we have one that's going to make up for it because we see a major storm system diving southward through the central United States. And what we're going to see is this storm want to just completely bomb off the east coast here, dropping all the way from basically something that is above 1,005 millibars all the way down very quickly to a 998. And with the jet stream here, it does appear like it's at least going to move semi up the coast, which would bring snowfall at least to the mid-Atlantic coast in this type of a scenario. If that trough could even out more up the coast, we could see this one ride all the way up here near the 14th, 13th, 14th, 15th time frame. And in my experience, major snowstorms happen to land on weekends more than weekdays, even though weekends are shorter than obviously your weekdays. We still happen to get a majority of these major events, and that goes for severe weather as well, happening on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday time frame. I don't know why that is, but that's kind of just how it's gone, coincidentally, I think. But this is a weekend here, so it's kind of got my attention, if you will say. Now, I think this one is at least going to track like this, like I mentioned, which should bring snowfall at least up through the Jersey coast and New York area, but this is at hour 2:40, so we can't see any further. The one thing I will mention is there's more Pacific storms on the way. As you can see, snowfall happening for the Cascades, Sierra Nevadas, Rockies still. Let's take a look at that GFS model. We do have some interesting storms popping up here as well. We do get a bit more of a storm here around the 8th, 9th time frame. A lot more snowfall than we actually saw on the European model. More of a trough moving down. We get this 988 millibar low pressure center wanting to bring snowfall to the northeast here. And as you can see, it does that as a 972 millibar low pressure center, eventually down into the 960s, but that one has some mixing issues. We do get a bit of a southern slider, as this model indicates very deep cold air moving in around January 15th here. As you can see, a bit of a low developing here. We get some snowfall for these areas, and this isn't an unheard of type of storm, so certainly something to continue to watch. But we have both models now trending at these areas kind of in the deeper southeast seeing snowfall, and when both of those models are on board in the long range, it gets your attention a little bit more than if you just see one of them pop up with something. It's something to track, but we're still going to take it with a grain of salt, obviously. It's not like it's impossible for these areas to see snowfall, and honestly, I live in this region. I've seen snowfall happen many different times like this where the models picked it up in the long range, so we're going to continue to track that. We do see the GFS model right around the 18th of January has another storm system moving through, bringing the Ohio Valley and Northeast some heavy snowfall, and that one becomes a nor'easter, a bit of one at least as well. And then we see another upper Midwest snowstorm as well. So that's like 5 or 6, maybe even 7 major snowstorms here from the GFS model. And then we get quite a few there on the European model as well. Very interesting stuff, and kind of encourages me that we're going to be seeing a more active pattern coming up. Total precipitation, according to that European model here, we see anywhere in the whites, practically none. Your grays are going to be 1/10 of an inch or less. Greens, 1/10 of an inch to 1/2 inch. Blues, 1/2 inch to an inch. Your yellows, 1 inch to 2 inches. Reds, 2 to 5 inches. Browns, 5 to 10 inches. And then your blues there are going to be 10 to 15, and then magentas being even 15 to 20 inches there. Certainly a whole lot of precipitation in the west, where again, there's going to be a handful of storms moving in from the Pacific, very, very strong storms upstream. And it looks like they're going to be doing a lot of this business where they're going to be moving down and impacting the east as well. Very interesting pattern coming up. And when we look at the total snowfall, we see the beginning of that storm here where that area sees snowfall. So we have now both major models showing some sort of snowfall here for the southeast and southern mid-Atlantic regions. Very interesting to say the least. Again, we are going to track that. Your grays are dusting, if anything. Blues 2 to 6 inches of snowfall. Purple 6 to 10. Pinks 10 to 20 there. Your pastel blues will be 20 to 35 inches, and then pastel pinks are going to be 35 inches plus. Over the Sierra Nevadas, we do expect up to 320 inches or more of snowfall there. According to this model on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, you can see that it says max 322, which indicates that is the maximum snowfall somewhere this model is seeing, which happens to be over the Sierra Nevadas. I know that because of the total precipitation. Now, we're not going to dive into the temperature pattern today, but tomorrow we will kind of resume that, so stay tuned for tomorrow. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe as we do upload every single day. You can even hit the bell icon and hit all videos for daily notifications when we upload so you never miss a video. Be sure to like it if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.